Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about my philosophy of leadership, hence the title. Okay, so people define leadership in many different ways, but in my experience, there's three main qualities I think a leader should have. And I think to be an effective leader, they need to have humility, an open mind, and ambition. I think I said that here. Good work ethic, ambition, those kind of go hand in hand. So here's kind of a layout of subcategories of each one. I'm going to start off with humility. It's basically the ability to see yourself as you are, no less, no more. You can recognize your strengths and your successes, and you also understand that you have weaknesses and you have limits. I think that's an effective leadership quality. Underneath that, you have a more compassionate leadership style because you have an understanding that everyone makes mistakes. Nobody has the expectation to be perfect. It allows you to set expectations for people and the people that you serve, that they don't have to be perfect and they don't have to do everything right all the time. And if they see you making that mistake, they're going to own up to it when they do. The second thing that I want to talk about was increased collaboration. Basically, that you don't always assume you have the answer and your answer is the only one that's going to be right. Going into humility with increased collaboration, you're allowing other people to give you input, and you recognize that your solution isn't always the best one, and you overcome that limitation by asking for help from other people. The third thing is better listening, and I think that an effective leader should always have the desire to learn something new, and it requires humility, because when you accept that you don't know everything, you open the door to learn something new, and other people have other ideas. Okay, so the second thing, an open mind. From humility comes an open mind. They all kind of tie in together, in my opinion, but I think there's still subcategories in themselves. But when a leader allows himself to collaborate with their team, they create an opportunity for better outcomes in the future. You see things from a different perspective, and I think that's an important quality in leadership. If leaders go into problems with closed minds, they can create tension and the problems will be more difficult to solve. The second thing is you have an openness to new solutions. Just like humility, being open-minded allows collaboration, you gain insight. When you take a step back and allow others to help, there's an opportunity for new ideas to be introduced. The third thing is you're open to feedback and improvement. Ouch. That's hard for me because feedback is sometimes considered negative, especially at my job. When I get feedback, I'm like, oh my gosh, I did something wrong, because I'm dealing with people's money, and that's scary to me. But when you're open to the feedback, I feel like that's where you're going to grow, because it's not like a thing where you're supposed to stay constant all the time. Leadership is supposed to build and grow, and if you're not going to take the feedback, then you're just going to dwindle away. It's not ever going to get better. The last category that I wanted to talk about was ambition and work ethic. I think motivation needs to be a main core thing. If you're not motivated, your people aren't going to be motivated. And you have to help yourself before you can help your team. You have to have some sort of work ethic to be a leader. That ties into the second thing. In my mind, a good leader starts from the bottom, and they're not up there high and mighty. If they're not willing to get their hands dirty, their people aren't going to be either. Plain and simple. If they're not willing to do the work, who else is going to be willing to do the work? The last thing is ambition. I think it's important to have goals. You have to have something to work towards, something to have the motivation for. Having ambition and drive is super important in reaching your goals. It's just kind of an incentive to motivate your team. But I don't know. Other people might disagree with me. I'm sure there'll be a lot of different takes on that, but these are all really similar but pretty important qualities. Okay, wait. I wanted to put this quote in here. Thought it was really cool. So the greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He's the one that gets the people to do the greatest things. Pretty. All right. The end. Yay!